Arthur sketched a strange QR code. He pointed the code at the camera inside the cell. The camera immediately scanned Arthur's drawing. Suddenly, every electronic device shut down. Right after, everyone's eyes rolled back uncontrollably. They collapsed to the ground, one after another. Even people outside the prison fell unconscious. Just yesterday, Arthur hadn't been arrested yet. He was at a store grabbing a bottle of wine. He tried to walk out without paying, but the door was a new high-tech model, and he couldn't open it. The shopkeeper called the police, and officers rushed over. By then, Arthur was already sitting calmly on the floor, waiting for judgment to check his record. The police scanned his DNA. What they found shocked them. Arthur wasn't ordinary. The system flagged him as a high-level criminal. They immediately took him into custody. Searching him, they found the keys to his house. Police went to his home to look for clues. Inside, they found the place crammed with computer parts. Scattered blueprints covered the desk, hand-drawn and strange. On closer look, they resembled circuit diagrams. Digging further, they discovered a locked room at the back. Without tools, they had to break the door open. What they saw inside left them stunned. The walls were wired to advanced computer systems. One machine sat covered by a dark cloth. From beneath, they swore they could hear faint noises. Meanwhile, Arthur was being interrogated. George and Anna were in charge of questioning him. George demanded to know why Arthur had killed people. Arthur ignored the question. Instead, he asked if this was the highest security prison. He also wanted to know if its computers were the fastest and most advanced. George brushed it off, trying to steer the talk back. He explained that he was a psychological evaluator. Arthur's behavior now would determine the length of his sentence. But Arthur didn't care at all. He said he wanted to tell them about his past, and when he finished, they could do whatever they wanted with him. Back in his youth, Arthur worked as a video game tester. One day, his boss gave him a new assignment. A top gaming company had developed a revolutionary new title. If Arthur tested it and wrote a strong review, he'd earn a huge bonus. Just the thought of it made him ecstatic. He rushed to the company to learn more about the game. The project manager explained the basics, then showed Arthur the game itself. You're looking at first life forms in history whose biology is entirely digital. What? How do I control them? Why do you want to control them? The manager replied. He warned Arthur not to think of the little yellow characters as NPCs. They were living beings. Arthur's role was to act like a god. He was to help them build a world of their own. Even the developers didn't know how the game would evolve. They couldn't control the creature's growth or choices. Listen, I'm talking to you, Arthur said. What are they saying? I don't know. They developed their own language, no words, just sounds. I didn't even have to design that. They just did it. Arthur had never played anything like this. His greed got the better of him. When the manager stepped out, Arthur secretly stole the game. Back home, he booted it up immediately. The game started with a single egg. Arthur hatched the tiny yellow creatures from it. He fed them when they were hungry. When they got dirty, he even bathed them. He cared for them like a father. Soon, more and more creatures appeared. They multiplied rapidly, growing stronger as a community. Arthur became obsessed with communicating with them. One day, that chance finally arrived. A low-life friend of his came to crash at Arthur's place. He said he had some good stuff. Arthur tried it without hesitation. Then he sat back at the computer. To his shock, he could suddenly understand the creatures. Their message was simple. They needed Arthur to provide more hardware. Only then could they communicate with him better. But when Arthur woke up the next morning, the effect was gone. He couldn't understand them anymore. Panicking, he bought every pill his friend had. Then he hit the electronics store. He picked up cameras, microphones, and other gear. Arthur was both greedy and